1987 Yamaha TW200, and I'm gonna troubleshoot the side stand switch. It wasn't working when I got the bike, and as you can see, someone has tied the two wires together to bypass the switch, so it makes me think something's wrong with it. I've removed the side panel here for the air filter access, and there's a plug right here. I disconnect it, and if it wasn't spliced, you could just put your probes on these two connectors to ohm out the switch. But I just went ahead and hooked my alligator clamps here, put my ohm meter on ohms, and I'm gonna remove the switch. Manually operate the switch. It's showing open, which it should in the pressed in position, but when you release it, it should show continuity. It did beep slightly, so it had continuity for just a second. But it's not it's not pushing all the way out. And if I pull all the way out, the switch is definitely faulty. If I play with it, I can get continuity, but that's 30 ohms. It should be much lower than that. So that tells me the switch, the contacts inside the switch aren't any good. Now this switch, I've looked it up, it's about $85. Oh, there we go. Maybe if I exercise the switch and get some contact cleaner down in there, because it's a sealed switch, it's not serviceable. But maybe I can take this boot off and get some contact cleaner in there and clean it up and see if I can get it working again. Yeah, it's starting to work after exercising it. Let's get that off. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get this switch to work, because I hate to spend $85 for a simple switch. Want to give you a quick update on my 87 Yamaha TW200 restoration. I already made a video of how I cleaned up this switch, and after sitting for like almost 2 weeks, still looks like new. And this was all grayed out just from the sun corroding it. So that turned out excellent. Got a new air filter, new battery. I started to remove the paint because it was chipping off, and I still got to do a lot more paint removal. I started doing some painting. The swing arm was full of rust, and I think the swing arm has turned out excellent. I want to come up with some frame paint. If anyone knows what matches or very closely matches without spending a lot of money, I would like to know. You can put in the comments below of what paint code without using color right, because they're quite expensive. But that's the last resort. I've done a lot of painting. I've painted the rear brake pedal, the side stand, the shifter, the brackets for the passenger pegs, foot pegs, the snail adjusters. I thought that would look pretty neat, painting them black with the swing arm silver. The Kickstarter, that's kind of a gray. I might paint that to an aluminum color, I'm not sure. I painted the muffler black and the header pipe with some very high temp paint, painted it aluminum color. Painted some miscellaneous bolts and springs, and so that's the update on the TW. So I've removed this boot with a screwdriver and sprayed as a shaft, and I sprayed like contact cleaner. Actually, it was electronic cleaner, and I worked this back and forth pulled on it, forced it back and forth quite a bit, and kept spraying cleaner down in here, and let it sit a little while, and now I hooked it up to my ohm meter, pushed it down in down position, pushed in position. I've got an open, which is what you want, and then when you release, you want continuity, and it's going to 0.1 ohms, which is what you want. That's a good connection. And I keep testing it. It keeps going back to 0.1 ohms. Now if it goes and shows like 20 ohms or something like that, that's not a good enough connection. It has to be lower than 1 ohm. So I'm going to put this on the machine and test it out, and then it has to be a good working switch. If it's not reliable, I'll go ahead and replace it, because I don't want it to strand me, because if this is pushed out and it's not making continuity, it's going to shut the engine down when you're in gear. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to solder these wires and put heat shrink tubing back on it to protect the wiring. So that shows that I got the side stand or kickstand switch fixed.